back.
Guess
Hello.
who's back? Back again.
I wish I was still in Greece.
I was going to say, how was Greece?
It was awesome. It was long enough where I already forgot some of the stuff we did the first days of the trip, but we went to Athens, saw the Acropolis, and the Parthenon scaffolding they had taken down while we were there, which was cool. We didn't go back up there to see it without it, but like pretty awesome to see. They're restoring so much of it. They're next going to work on the internal walls or whatever, but yeah, pretty cool to see that from however long ago. Oh, I forget what we did around Athens. Then we went to Naxos, the island, and then Santorini for a few days. Rented a side-by-side and drove around Naxos and went to a couple farms. And then they like taught us to cook some traditional dishes. And we swam in the volcanic water around Santorini, all kinds of fun stuff. It was great.
Wow.
Good times.
I was kind of keeping up with Brooke's Instagram. It looked like y'all had fun.
Yeah. It's funny because the weather was like 77 Fahrenheit compared to our 77 here. It felt way hotter. It felt like 90 or something. I don't know why exactly, but humidity or something. It felt significantly hotter because we kind of packed expecting it to be maybe kind of cool. It was not cool. Maybe late at night, but we went to a bunch of wineries. One night we closed out the hotel restaurant with, I think we drank 5 bottles of one of the wineries. And then turns out literally the next day we went to that winery and we were getting a tour of it. And they were like, so here's this one. And we were like, yeah, we already know we like that one. We had 5 bottles of it last night.
I'm impressed. 5 bottles is pretty good. That's some good numbers.
It wasn't just me and Brooke doing 5 bottles.
Oh, okay.
There was only 5 of us though.
Oh, well, that's fine.
So that was post dinner, and we pretty sure had plenty to drink during dinner as well. That's what you do on a food and wine tour of a country. You eat a lot of food and wine. So it was good. I enjoyed it. In a weird way, it was like too long because we kept like doing FaceTime with the kids and like just miss them. But then also I was like, I could use a 3-month sabbatical to really like recharge, but close to 2 weeks was awfully good. I will say we need to do full month-long sabbaticals like y'all at Podia.
Yeah. Right when you were saying that, I was like, damn, I need to take another sabbatical, but it feels like I just had one.
When's your next one?
I don't remember. There was like a change recently where they might do them every year now. I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
I'm obviously
That's
not paying
pretty
attention.
awesome.
There's a running joke that whenever our CEO Spencer like goes on sabbatical, he comes back with like all these ideas, and I think he left for a sabbatical and he came back. And he's like, I think we should just do them every year. So maybe that's wrong and I'm misremembering, or maybe that's right. Who knows? I'm the type of person that every Friday meeting we have, Jamie will be like, hey, by the way, Andrew, like y'all don't have to work on Monday. I'm like, oh, news to me. Didn't know about that. I get told about holidays with a JIT processor just in time.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm the same way. Brooke's like, yeah, I don't have to work Monday. And I'm like, oh yeah? She's like, yeah, it's whatever holiday. And I'm like, oh, I guess I probably shouldn't work Monday either. Just never matters when you're self-employed though.
I went and saw Obsession last night, and holy crap, that was a great movie.
I have not seen it. But somebody was talking about it recently, I feel like. But
I did go to the movies this past weekend, but it was to see a very different film than Obsession.
Oh, yeah. You saw Toy Story. How was it?
Yeah, we went and saw Toy Story 5. It was really good. We enjoyed it.
Nice. I can't remember if I've seen Toy Story 4.
Came out a while ago. It was like in a daycare, I think.
I remember 1 and 2 very clearly. 3 gets a little fuzzier, but I remember watching it. And then I'm like, I don't know if I just totally missed the Toy Story 4 completely or what. But
4 is, I think, easily the most kind of controversial of the Toy Story movies in terms of just like the public reaction to it. It got a lot of hate, for lack of a better word, for the writing and some of the characters kind of behaving contrary to how they had been established in the first 3 movies. So this is like, But yeah, the new one though was really good. Was a really solid return to form of like, oh yeah, Pixar is really good at making these when they try.
Nice.
Well, 4 also had some ties into a certain historical event that people seem to either make up or was actually there, which was kind of dark.
I don't know what you're referring to.
I'm not going to bring up the historical event. It was,
oh dear,
it was just not a good thing.
Okay. Did you see the Porsche 911s that they made that was Buzz Lightyear and Woody and Jesse?
No, but that's sick.
I'll get a link for you. They are wild.
Driving a Buzz Lightyear Porsche 911 would fulfill several dreams for me.
It's so freaking cool looking.
Oh,
it's
that's
by far the
sick.
best of them. I would absolutely drive that. It looks so good. So Buzz Lightyear is a 911 GT3 RS, but because Buzz is a space ranger, they made it the SR instead of the RS. That's cool.
I was going to say, I'm looking at these photos. I'm like, I've been there.
It is so well done. Instead of Goodyear on the tires, they have Lightyear on the tires. It's all so tastefully done too. I am impressed. The other ones were like, they're cool, but they didn't have near as much detail, I feel like, visually on the outside. But like Woody has like some sort of blue jean looking paint color to it, which is neat. I'm sure they look better. Like those probably look better in person, but the Buzz Lightyear GT3 RS looks so sick.
Yeah, that looks like a fun time.
So, it's one of one. You're going to need to have deep pockets to buy that one. You probably have to buy it from Pixar themselves.
Well, they took these promo photos out near me, so go hit up the Porsche dealership.
Yeah.
Wow.
You just walk in. So, you got one of these? Can I get it for like $10K under MSRP?
Oh, no, I just want a test drive. I don't need it. It doesn't need to come home with me. I just need a quick test drive.
What's new in the world since... Did I miss 3 episodes? I can't remember. 2, 3?
Well, you were supposed to miss 3, but you might have missed less than that.
Because Andrew was off at Blast Off Rails for a week.
Oh, yeah.
And the idea occurred to me that while you were out, I should reach out to Jason Charnes and see if he'd come record an episode just with me, just so I could be like, I got to talk to Jason and neither of you did.
Nice. Gotta get back on. How was Blast Off?
It was a blast. Yeah.
That's all I wanted to hear.
We talked about it on the episode that will come out this week. Well, this week at the time of recording. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. Talk went great. Got to see some friends and make some new ones and got to go on one of those cable car things that's like suspended by the cables that takes you up a mountain. It was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. You were like the closing talk?
Yep. I was the final. I think I said this to David. I was like, I wasn't nervous until like 30 minutes before. And then like, crap.
Yeah, that'll happen. But it went well.
Yeah, went great. Conference is great. Travis did a great job. And I really hope he does it again because it was one of the more fun conferences I've been to in a long time.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I was curious if he left any teasers of maybe doing it next year.
Yeah, he said he is currently planning on it. So I hope so because it was great.
Nice. Speaking of conferences, Rails World was down to less than 100 tickets now, general admission ones.
I'm looking forward to that.
And they've announced the speaker lineup for the conference as well.
Yes.
So that's up to look through now.
Yeah, the one that caught my eye that I wanted to bring up was Donal. He's talking about Active Search, which is better than originally pitched as well, which Active Search was kind of like MySQL, Postgres, SQLite all have some pretty good built-in search functionality, but rather than just building active search for the database stuff, it's actually going to also integrate with Elasticsearch, Mealysearch, and TypeSense, which I'm very excited about because, for example, like the TypeSense Ruby backend, I don't know if that one's from scratch, but like the TypeSense Rails gem is like a fork of the Algolia Rails library, and it's okay, but you can tell that like the Algolia developers weren't really Ruby developers, and so it's pretty clunky when you look at the internals of it and stuff. And I'm guessing they'll do kind of a not necessarily blank slate implementation of this, but like probably will try and be as lightweight as possible dependency wise. And then it'll be interesting to see because all these databases and then the search services, I guess we can call them, is like quite different in functionality. So it'll be, I would imagine, fairly different and configurable between them. Curious to see how it abstracts them and gives you the capabilities in a generic way, but also being able to dig into some of the features that like TypeSense needs you to define in different ways. Like for TypeSense, if you were searching like email addresses, you want to expand the token separators list so that at symbols or whatever split the emails into tokens so that stuff after the at symbol, like the domain, can be searched as well and whatnot. So I'll be real curious to see how that all gets implemented.
Are you tired of babysitting your job queues? Let us do it for you. JudoScale monitors and autoscales your job queues so you can stop babysitting and get back to coding. We support Sidekick, SolidQ, GoodJob, and just about every other job backend in Rubyland. And of course, we autoscale your web services too. JudoScale scales up your apps faster than any other autoscaler, so requests, timeouts, and backed up job queues are mitigated before they become a problem. JudoScale has a free plan you can use forever, so there's literally no risk, whether you're on Heroku, AWS, Render, or any other cloud platform. Visit judoscale.com and get your job queues under control.
It's been brought up a few times in the past that we're like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we could do like more global search across Podia? And every time someone says that, I start to groan because I'm like, Elastic is in my future. And yeah. I think we all know that. And we're like, if something else comes up that's like, oh, wait, we could just do this instead. That would be so much nicer.
Do you already have Elastic for things? Okay.
No, we're just using Postgres search for most things.
I've used Elastic in the past and Mealysearch, and like we've switched everything over to TypeSense. I would highly recommend it if you are going to evaluate stuff. Make sure that's in your list. It's really nice. And of course, Jason Bosco is like a big sponsor around the community anyways. So like shout out to him. He's incredibly friendly and helpful. And whenever I've found like a little bug or issue, like he'll jump in or has somebody on his team will help get it fixed or give me direction on what I was doing wrong. So yeah, shout out them. TypeSense has been great for us.
They sponsored Blastoff, and like I've obviously heard the name, but I've never even really looked into it until I saw them sponsoring Blastoff. It didn't even really occur to me to be like, oh, well, maybe I don't need Elastic, because I've used Elastic in the past too, and it's such like a heavy-handed tool that it's like
huge. TypeSense has docs. I forget where in the docs, but it's worth reading. There's a comparison with Elasticsearch, Algolia, and Mealysearch, and they've got like where is this matrix here on their marketing site? But it kind of compares all four of them and the pros and cons of each. So like there's a whole feature list of things, and it's like, well, Algolia does actually have some features that maybe you can't get with these other ones. One example is like dynamic synonym suggestions. That's something that Algolia offers, but nobody else does. It's good to be able to see that and determine what your needs are, though. I honestly, like, from what we need, which isn't terribly complicated, TypeSense has been phenomenal. And it's like, that was the big reason going from Elasticsearch to Mealysearch in the first place, because Mealysearch was like, I don't know, 60 megs of RAM or something. It was tiny for what we needed, while Elasticsearch needed like 4 gigs of RAM just to boot up. by itself with nothing in it. And I was like, ooh, that is rough. And I'm sure like it's tunable and other things, but it's very complicated configuration and stuff too, where I found we could just drop in TypeSense or Melee Search and it was super easy. But then Melee Search is like database. It may be better now, but it used to require you to like export the database and import it in the new version every single time you updated, which is like for safety, but like meant production went down a few times and like the package just updated automatically. And hey, we can't load this database because it's an old version. And I was like, what do you mean? What? Because like at least your Postgres and stuff deals with the same thing, but like the package will ask you, do you want to upgrade your database or not? And if you don't, like it'll just run on the old version and you just have the new run readily available, but it doesn't break anything. So they had some teething and growing pains, but I feel like they've just done a better job with all of that with TypeSense, I feel like. But
yeah,
worth the shot.
I used to work at a company where we would pull like production, we would clone production data into our like local environments. And it was like an internal application. So that was like fine. But whenever you do that, you'd have to run, especially on certain God objects, you'd have to run reindex and Elasticsearch on them. And until you did that, the app was basically useless. So I'd literally have to plan around, I need to update my database. So I'm going to run object.reindex and I'm going to go get lunch because it's going to be a long time.
Yeah, you do have to do that, I feel like, with pretty much any of these external search services, because that's just the nature of the business is you've now got your data separated out in two places, which, yeah, it adds quite a bit of complexity. So if you can avoid it and use built-in database search, it sure saves you a lot of trouble, because you also have to do that with your test suite. Because if your index action supports filters through search, then you're not querying your database. You're actually querying the search index first and then pulling the records out of your database. So without the index being up to date, your action's just going to pull 0 records because nothing's in the search index. So that can be, a pain, because you can hook into, I forget how I set it up. The GoRails test suite would load the fixtures and then afterwards would reindex. And it might have just been a step in the test helper where I just made sure that after the fixtures run the reindex automatically or something. But it's just like frustrating. Another thing to keep in sync, basically. But necessary evil, I feel like.
Yep.
But there's a bunch of good talks, obviously, at Rails World, but none that I was like, ooh, a sneak peek at some new features or something. Generally, they're going to want to keep secret, obviously.
Well, I'm always excited to see Marco talk. And my old friend Nick Pez is giving a talk. Rachel Wright-Munn's giving a talk. Like, there's some really great speakers on here. Jeremy, I just hung out with him at Blast Off.
Yeah.
So, got a pretty stacked lineup here.
When production breaks, you want to quickly understand and fix it, not sift through logs for the next hour. That's where Honeybadger comes in. Honeybadger notifies you of errors and outages and puts performance in context to help you fix the issue faster. Learn more at honeybadger.io. That's www.honeybadger.io. Next talk is going to be great. I like hearing more about the internals of all those gems. Mike D'Alessio is talking about the markdown stuff for action text. So I'm really excited to see that. That's something that you can do a lot with, but it isn't really documented very well. And Mike maintains the HTML sanitizer libraries and stuff. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, for my support application that we use for all our products, we accept inbound emails through Action Mailbox and save them to the database and save them in Action Text. But emails will have a quote of the previous email embedded in them. And that gets really annoying to like render that out. And the way that Gmail structures it, it's a div with a like Gmail quote container class on that parent div. Inside the first div is like an attribution or whatever. It's like quote adder or something is the class name. And that's where it says on Wednesday, February, whatever, so-and-so wrote. And then it's like the quote of the previous email after that in a block quote. So actually yesterday I wrote a scrubber extension for my application. So when an email comes in, or no, when we render it out, actually, this because you don't want to necessarily transform the original HTML. You want to do it when you're rendering it out. So that's when the sanitizer runs. And so in the sanitizer, we go through all the nodes and do the sanitization. But what we do also is if we detect that we're in that div where it's the Gmail quote container, then I just change the element's name from a div to a details element. And then I look for the child, the first child, which would be that attribution line, and change that to the summary element. So now with those 2 lines of code, I can make that collapsible in our UI automatically with the browser, and like literally no work, no JavaScript. Like that was the simplest thing you could possibly do. And now the email quotes are automatically collapsed by default. I could make some logic in there if I wanted to, like, if this is the top one, maybe display it or something else. You could add the open attribute to it or whatever with some logic. But it was like, yeah, this is sick. It's just 2 lines of code. And all we have to do is swap basically the elements for those 2 things. And you already have no Kagiri objects. So that's super easy. No magic there. But yeah, that's stuff that like totally doable with Rails. But like you can't read the guide on action text and understand how to do that. And you really have to go through the source code of the HTML sanitizer as well, because it's mainly around sanitization. It's not like, I would consider that what I was doing like a transformation or something, but it's like sanitizers and scrubbers. Neither one of those don't sound like what I'm looking for. So it's hard to find examples for that stuff, but this is going to be pretty interesting too, because yeah, Markdown's generating HTML, or if it's being saved as Markdown on the back end or whatever. Lots of cool stuff that I'm sure he'll dig into. And then Jorge is talking about the front end JavaScript side of things with Lexi. So that'll be awesome. They made a change in Lexi maybe a month or 2 ago. I built the example with link unfurling. So when you paste in a URL, you can go retrieve the metadata for it and embed the image or whatever metadata, the title, description, whatever. But they broke that not that long ago to change the way that like extensions work. Because I was trying to embed YouTube videos and have like the thumbnail when editing, but then when you render it out, use the YouTube iframe embed. So now you can build extensions. But what's confusing is, and I think they're not using it themselves with import maps, but with import maps, the instructions are like import this extension thing from Lexical, but you have to import a second copy of Lexical, like your own version. But I know that Lexi is built and has Lexical already loaded and stuff. And so I started a discussion with a little PR to be like, what if Lexi exposes a way to define the extensions? Because it's already got Lexical. I don't want to have to pin it separately, because then you're downloading 2 copies of Lexical in your browser. And then somebody else chimed in and was like, yeah, actually, if you do something like that, then you end up with these different events, or you like things are out of sync because there's like 2 copies running or something like that. Then we definitely need to address this, hopefully before the conference, and then that can have a proper, complete example for it. But it's kind of cool because like your extension can register like, hey, I want to allow these certain tags. So like for the link unfurling, like we want to allow an iframe, for example, which wouldn't normally be there. So yeah, it's come a long ways. It's way, way more flexible than Tricks, but also like zero documentation and quite daunting to get into. I won't say zero, but when you're getting into extending it, it feels like there's next to zero. So it's quite a challenge at the moment, but hopefully that'll be well documented here sooner than later.
Claude, document this, make no mistakes.
Yeah. Lexical itself should be fairly well known by LLMs because it's been around for a long time and it's a React, it's a Facebook framework. So I'm sure there's plenty of examples of usage on it, but it's not a simple little framework. You want to hear a funny thing? Speaking of AI, the other day, one of my friends, Andrew Quinn, sent me a message and he goes, so I just gave Claude an old API client I wrote years ago based on the one that we have in Jumpstart, like our API client, application client, we call it. And Claude actually says, got it. You want a Go Rails style client setup? And I was like, what?
Someone's leaking your code.
I know. It's funny. It's so cool that is registered as a thing in the LLM, but it's also wild that there's attribution there. We clearly stole this from you. That's interesting. Because that was in Jumpstart. So we never I don't think we ever publicly shared that.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. Someone's got if you do a GitHub search, you'll find it somewhere.
Oh yeah. People have accidentally open sourced their repositories or whatever too. But it's still funny because it's hard in those cases. How would it necessarily know it was a Go Rails style thing or whatever? I thought that was kind of crazy.
You finally made it.
Yeah.
You finally made it to the LLM.
Now, if only Claude paid royalties of any kind.
Yeah. I saw a tool recently, and I don't know if this is just for academic scholars, but there was a way to figure out if your work was used as LLM training data. I don't remember what it was called, but there is such a thing out there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just, what are you going to do at this point? It's an accepted thing that everybody stole as much content from the internet as they could, obviously. Probably too late for anybody to prosecute or whatever over that. It just doesn't make sense at this point.
They're trying. There's still ongoing court cases about that. Facebook used zlib and all these other pirate sources to feed in.
It's one of the things they probably can kind of be well, all we have is just a big set of numbers. We don't even know where it came from.
Well, and now people are training models off of other models. So
yeah. And it's how is that proven in the court of law? It's going to be tough. And people, do the judges even remotely understand the technology? We don't even hardly understand how it works. It's a wild time.
That's why being an expert witness is a job.
There you go. That's what we can do from now on.
I updated image processing. I haven't merged it yet, but I was so what's the change? It looks like they're no longer including mini magic and Ruby Vips. I'm all right, I'll just do what it says and add Ruby Vips to my gem file and cool. Yep. I push it up and CI is fail. And I'm like, what the hell is going on, bro? What's it supposed to be this hard?
Yeah, I did the same thing. There's soft dependencies, and then I forget what I assumed there. I thought, what I did was I just put Ruby Vips as a dependency. But as it turns out, that's going to have Bundler require Ruby Vips right away when Bundler setup runs. And you actually don't want to do that. So you have to set it to require false. I discovered that because I made the update and then CI failed. And I was like, well, that's weird because I just did what you would expect to do. Update the gem, add the explicit dependency. And then I started looking at the Rails repo in main to see what is the new gem file like. And that change was in there where it was you want to require it as false because then active storage can then load it when it's used. So it's not necessarily loaded immediately. Because when it's loaded immediately, it checks to make sure that the VIPs packages or the shared library, like the .so file on Linux is there or whatever. I forget exactly because that was 3 or 4 weeks ago when I did that, but I had kind of the same problem. But you want that require as false on the Ruby VIPs gem file line.
I'm doing it right now. See, the very first idea I had when I saw it all fail was to add require false. I just hadn't gotten back to it. But for those listening, the error is load error cannot open library vips.so.42. Vips.so.42 cannot open shared object file, no such file or directory. So I was like, it's either going to be the require false or it's going to be that I need some package installed in our CI suite. Yeah, but we'll find out by the end of this episode whether you're right or not.
Test against Rails 8.2 main. I'm pretty sure this is where libvips is available for CI. That was it. Well, in my case, I have the Brakeman, the built-in CI step that runs that. So it runs bin import map audit, and then that was failing because it could not open library vips SO42. And that's because that specific CI step didn't need to install libvips because it wasn't going to run the test suite and run any active storage things. So then my first fix was like, oh, I'll just make sure that the package is installed for that CI steps, which does fix it because it loads VIPs. But then I was looking at the Rails thing. I was like, yeah, actually, no, the proper fix here is just to require false. So if you don't need it, there's no reason to install the libvips Ubuntu package in CI. Just like skip that and then fix your gem file. So that's what I ended up doing there. Because the whole rest of the test suite ran just fine. It ran Rubocop, the linters, it ran Brakeman fine. It ran the tests and system tests, but it was the scan.js stuff which ran the import map audit because that one didn't need to run the full thing. It didn't have libvips as a dependency there. So yeah, that was what it was.
Yeah, I'm interested to find out whether libvips is automatically installed on the GitHub Actions suite I'm using or not. I guess we'll find out. It was bundled before. It should be there. Like me adding it to the gem file shouldn't change anything. It was already in my gemfile.log.
Runner images, libvips. Yeah, I don't think it's installed by default, but it typically is added to the workflow YAML file by Rails for the necessary sections in there.
I've gotten away with just using the base image, I think. Because I don't have any apt install in my CI stuff, which I've been enjoying because that used to be such a pain to have to manage.
Yeah. I'm trying to look here, the Ubuntu image C details. Looking for the list of packages and the runner images.
Yeah, Ubuntu 24.
Yeah, I did see they also added Resolute finally last week or something. I'm surprised because Ubuntu Resolute is the latest LTS. Came out in April. DigitalOcean still has not updated to add that image, which is kind of surprising because it's been 2 months since that was released. Usually they have that out sooner.
Well, I'm on Heroku, so I'm sure that's not a problem for me.
Yeah.
I am willing to bet it's not on there.
No. Heroku has a Heroku 26 stack. Where was that? May 19th. Yeah.
And it's on there?
Look at that. Yeah.
I don't think we're close to Heroku 26.
Yeah, you probably...
Oh, wait. No, this one
Heroku
is.
24.
I'm about to find out. Because I opened up Heroku and it was listing Heroku 20 and 22 for a bunch of stuff, but none of those were the main app.
Yeah.
I don't even know where you see that anymore. Well, they don't change it. I just can't find anything in their settings ever.
Yeah, I don't see VIPs in the GitHub Actions runner image by default. So I think you still have to install that.
That will be a bummer. I have no idea.
It's just one command, bro.
Man. Oh, yeah, we're on Heroku 24.
Did we talk about Muse adding support for system packages?
No, but I was looking into that.
And
they've added
and
a
dot
ton
file
of
management.
stuff. The dot file stuff is the stuff I was looking at. I was like, yo, maybe I can replace my Chesmui setup with this instead. But then I was looking kind of into what it did, and I was like, I don't know if I necessarily want this. Like for the brew stuff, it seemed to be like actually packaging it in. I was like, I don't really need that. I kind of just want to run brew install.
Well, it'll run brew install for you, but I think it like may install homebrew for you or something. I couldn't tell exactly, but it said, I was reading about it and it said something around those lines of like, you don't even have to have homebrew installed, but we detect you're on Mac OS and then the packages get installed for you. And I was like, so does that mean you're installing homebrew or you have another mechanism to do it for me or what? Maybe they don't and can go around homebrew, but Mies just keeps adding these features and I'm like, yo, I just need to like set up a new machine, just install Mies and then have it do everything else. I'm down. I'm so down. That would simplify it so much. So it feels like Jeff's been busy. I hope he's been doing well with the sponsorship stuff for his work, but I have no idea how that's going.
So what we were discussing was homebrew formula and cask without requiring homebrew to be installed. So Mies installs homebrew core formula directly into the canonical homebrew prefix. It fetches the metadata from the API, resolves runtime dependency closure, downloads bottles, performs things and stuff, code sign, linking work brew, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not sure if...
He's just done it all from scratch.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you have to use that or if that's just like an option. But that is really cool.
Yeah, right. Did you see this too? The repos? This whole Bootstrap section is sick.
I know. There's so much stuff. Dude, they can set Mac OS defaults. That's sick.
Yes. I was going to get to that. So starting at repos, Bootstrap packages is the first thing kind of that we're talking about where you can configure it. So like if you're on Ubuntu, you can set apt packages and you can say we need libvips -dev if we're on Linux. But then if you're on Mac OS, you can have brew : whatever, libvips, and then repos. So like you could set up a company Mies configuration and repos you can configure and say like we have in your home directory, a code folder or a source folder or something. And we put the Podia or GoRails repo in there. It points to this GitHub URL. Then we have these dot files that we want to install. And that could be for your ZSHRC. It could be for your like PSQL RC, your Rails RC file,
git config,
GemRC, anything. And then shell activation stuff. So you can have it do different snippets for different shells, Mac OS default. So you can set up the dock to like auto hide and be oriented on the left, show all files in Finder set to true. Like it will configure your Mac OS stuff.
And don't forget
Mac
launch
OS
D,
launch agents, user login shell, all kinds of stuff now. So you can basically configure a new machine with Mies for any new developers on your team. And like, here's the repos you need to be cloned in these directories. Here's the databases you need, the dependencies, the shared dot files with our shortcuts for your shells. Like, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I also like that they have like different options. Like you can do symlinking or like copying, because I always prefer to copy usually. But symlinking is also option, like the default option.
Well, because like I like to do the symlink because I'll clone my dot files repo. So you could do that, then symlink all the files from there to their necessary locations. Like I wrote a bash script to do that for me. I symlink them because if I edit it, I want it to be persisted in the Git repo 99% of the time instead of copying, because then I might forget or I won't notice that I've made a change or whatever. So yeah. But it's nice that you can do either one.
I play with my dot files a lot, and sometimes it's just temporary. So I don't like with Chesmoi, you can re-add from your current computer or you can pull in to your computer. So I like doing that kind of manually. But if I can replace it with this, I definitely will. And the other thing they added was OCI images, where you can
nice.
Mies OCI build turns a Mies.toml into a container image.
Nice.
It's pretty sick.
Where is that at?
It's in DevTools.
DevTools.
I was thinking the other day about Dockerizing Podia again. I mean, we have some Docker stuff in there, but not much. But if I could just turn my Mies file into an image, then I'm good to go. Like I'm done then.
Yeah, this is awesome. I'll have to try that too.
We've been using Fnox a lot more too at work, which has been really nice as well.
I've been meaning to play with Ob finally.
Oh yeah.
I haven't had time. Hey, Ob is sponsored by 37 Signals. Nice. They're premier sponsor. So he's doing okay. He's got one premier sponsor at $3,000 a month, which is 37 Signals. CodeRabbit is $1,500 a month. Supabase is $500 a month. And then there's infrastructure partners with Cloudflare, BuildKite, and Namespace. So he's got some money coming in for that, which is good. It's probably not quite where he wants it to be to fully cover his full time, but I'm hoping that keeps on, because that is ideal for him to keep working on this kind of stuff and then not have to do it on the side. That's, I think, the hardest part is getting enough to get a full-time salary on this. But
yeah, and he has like personal sponsorship opportunities as well, which is cool.
Yes. Yeah.
I might do this. I'm probably going to do this. I love Mies. I'm probably going to go ahead and get this.
If you can sponsor him, and we're going to start using Mies as the foundation for Hatchbox. And so it's going to be a no-brainer for us to sponsor him and stuff. I got to finish that and get that out the door. It's just the core of our application. So I'm a little hesitant to make some of those big production changes. I need to do it on a Monday or something where I don't mind staying up for the next 48 hours if something goes truly terribly wrong. But I think we'll be fine. It's also nice to see that some of these like CodeRabbit and Namespace are also Tailwind sponsors. When Adam talked about his podcast where he was going to lay off over half the team or whatever, that's when all their sponsorships, corporate sponsorships, started flowing in to help save them. I remember there's, a big swarm of them, but how long do they stay sponsors is really the key question. I feel like the Tailwind list of companies sponsoring has shrunk dramatically since then, because that was your time. If you want to get your brand name in there, you drop it in. Okay, we're going to save Tailwind CSS. But then as people lose interest, and I'm sure the companies do too. So I also wonder about how sustainable this kind of stuff is from sponsorships, because I feel like that's why GitHub sponsors never really quite took off in the same way.
It did for some people, like Caleb.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's stayed that way.
Yeah.
And I still have maybe one or two sponsors, and Stripe is one of them on GitHub, and that's because we maintain, the PageM. But it's they could also just have reached out directly and been like, "Hey, can we pay you to do this?" They don't have to do it through GitHub sponsors or whatever, and those relationships can still work if they treat it as almost you're a contractor for them in a sense, where they're like, "We don't really have any expectations of what you do, but we want to make sure this keeps happening."
And they got to add more tax documents, though.
Yeah. I don't know that it's going to be permanently sustainable in that way, but who knows? The ideal is probably you find a company like a Cloudflare or something that makes enough money where they could hire someone to be full-time doing some open source work as their job that benefits the whole industry, which Cloudflare is one of the core pieces of the industry. And so financially might be not easy to tie its value to the spend, but you can tell hey, if we make it easier for developers to build things and it happens to have the Cloudflare logo on it, good. That means people will be reminded of us in one more place, and that's worth, for a company of that size, like a lot. So who knows? But yeah, I wish there was a more sustainable way of supporting these projects.
Yeah,
It's tough.
too. It is tough, but shout out to everyone trying.
Yep. Well, the only other thing I can think of was RubyConf is, 3 weeks away?
Yep,
Something
right around
like
the
that.
corner. Sunny
I don't know
Las
how they're
Vegas.
doing.
It's hot here. Just FYI, my
bet.
AC went out the other night, and I didn't realize that it had gone. I was like, "Why is my fan running on this thing?" And I went to sleep, and I didn't really think much about it. And then the next morning, I woke up and I was like, "Why is my AC set to 82, but it's 85 and the fan's running?" And I'm like, "Huh." And then it took literally 5 or 6 hours. I was playing video games with Drew, and I was like, I don't know why, like, the temperature keeps rising, but the fan's still running. I don't understand what's going on. And Drew's like, "Dude, your AC's broken." And I'm like, "Oh." So
Oh no.
I spent 2 days without AC. It was over 90 inside, and it was over 100 outside. And even at night, it was like 95 outside, because I was like going to sleep on the porch. It was like 95 outside. I was like, at least inside the fan's still running, so it's like circulating air. But they came last night at like 8 p.m. and fixed it. And I was like, "Oh, God bless y'all." I was like, "Thank y'all so much."
Oh, that's rough. I would probably bite the bullet and just get a hotel room.
I'm built different now. I can do it.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
a
if it
cocktail of
wasn't-
substances.
We have the benefit of like our basement. We can go down there and it's just naturally way cooler. So that would be a good hack for us to get by. But I don't know. I cannot sleep when it's hot. So
Yeah. I thought it would be a lot harder than it was, but I kind of just stayed up late to the point I was tired, and then, made a little cocktail of things, and I was able to sleep when it was 90 in here. And I was like, oh, I mean, I've gone camping and it's been 90 outside. So maybe I've just adjusted to this point. It wasn't comfortable, but
right.
Still did it.
Yeah. And that's the big thing too. Is like, you do get used to it depending on where you live. Visiting Texas, I'm like, why would you want to live here? It's so hot. But then, like, if you live there for a while, you don't notice. It's just the way things are.
That was the nice part about going to Albuquerque, which I didn't realize Albuquerque's elevation was so much different than mine. Am I this out of shape? Why am I getting winded walking up the stairs? It turns out it's like a mile above where I am or something like that. Oh, really? It's way higher than I thought. And it was like 10 degrees cooler. And I was like, oh man, it feels great here. Like everyone else was like sweating. I'm like, this feels amazing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Oh, this blows. Apple raised prices on everything.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mac Studio was like $400 or $500 more. Something like that.
Increased the price of the Neo like by 100.
Yeah, MacBook Pro 1 terabyte is $300 more. Yikes.
That RAM, dude.
Yeah, RAM and storage.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yikes. Well, luckily I bought my Mac Studio before the prices went up. Now in this holding pattern of like, well, I'm just going to wait for a long time. Maybe the prices go down, but I have a feeling they're just not going to go down.
No. That's the thing about prices. Once they go up, they rarely come down.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah, people are willing to keep buying. So there's really no incentive to push them back down. I don't know. Did you pre-order GTA 6?
No, I'm not pre-ordering a game that's like 147 days away. That's craziness.
It's only been like, what, 11 years or whatever?
I was in high school, I'm pretty sure, when it came out. I am excited for it, but then the game is like 80, and then you can get like the deluxe edition for 100, and there's like content behind the deluxe edition that you couldn't get otherwise. But there's something very specific where it's like they're marketing as a single player experience. So does that mean when GTA Online comes out, they're going to charge you again? That would be BS. Because now that they've set the price at 80, you just know that almost every video game going forward is going to be like, or from like the big studio is going to be $80 going forward.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this is...
Well, I don't even care because like I never ended up getting a PS5, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait for the PC release, which is to be announced. Okay, whatever. I don't mind playing it way later. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
I love
But
my
dude, it's
PS5
been
though.
4,665 days since the initial release of Grand Theft Auto 5,
Whoa.
September 17th, 2013. So it's almost
Dude.
13 years.
Hadn't even experienced my first heartbreak yet.
Can you imagine working on one game for 13 years and then finally shipping? Like, how crazy would that be?
I wonder what the turnover rate is. What percentage of the people working at Rockstar now were working when they started working on it?
Yeah, and it's like how much, because those video games, I guess they're like fairly consistent in their theme between the games. Like there's always open world, there's cars, there's planes, helicopters, whatever. And they're building Red Dead Redemption 2 in the meantime and like iterating on the engine itself. But you always hear about like the video games where they have a concept, they build it like 7 times and throw it away 7 times. And then finally they land on what becomes the final game. And it's like over 13 years, how many times did they end up doing that?
Well, think how much
The
technology has
process.
changed in those 13
Yeah.
years.
Seriously.
I was on the PS3 when that game came out.
Yeah. That is millennia of engineering technical changes that have happened since then. There's like proper SSDs and everything these days and whatever they can take
Yeah.
advantage of. Didn't Red Dead Redemption 2 take advantage of that PlayStation being able to load stuff from disk ultra fast? Or there's some like technology thing they were like promoting, being able to like load stuff faster from SSDs or whatever. I
can't
forget.
remember. I always get,
There's
I
some
usually
cool
get the digital
caching thing.
edition.
Yeah. It was something about loading data from NVMe or whatever into RAM or something. And they had some cool caching thing there. Because obviously, like open world games, like you got to constantly be loading data at all times so that there's no loading screens and whatever. The technical aspect of all that is wild, but then also like, how do you build the stories and script all of that and then throw it away when you're like, go experience it and you realize like this doesn't quite work or this isn't good enough and whatever. And then you got to redo it all. But then what happens when the infrastructure underneath you changes? The tools that you have. Now we have a new feature. We could rewrite how this thing is scripted or whatever. And it's crazy to me to think about the architecture at that scale for a game that complicated and whatever. I still remember being mind blown of like, you walk into, was that GTA 5 or Red Dead Redemption? But like, you walk into water and like your jeans get soaked up to the point that you walked in.
I think that was Red. I think they came to GTA, but I think that was in Red Dead.
Yeah. I remember seeing that and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's incredible. But also like you experience that once and then you're like, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
It adds to the immersion, I guess, but like it's really a huge engineering effort, I'm sure,
Yeah.
just to pull off a thing that you're like, whoa, okay, cool, whatever.
Yeah. And the majority of players are, because it's in like Miami, right? There's a beach. The first day this game opens, like 13 years, blood, sweat, and tears. And everyone's going to log on and just drive like cars through the beach. Like,
Yeah.
to crowds and shit.
It's going to be bugs and whatever.
Yeah. And they've delayed the release like multiple times. Like it was supposed to have come out already.
Yeah, like last year or something.
Yeah.
But they are playing at a scale that no one else in video games really are playing at. Because what? They're already going to do 1 billion in pre-orders.
I mean,
or they already
GTA,
have.
GTA
maybe.
5 did like almost 1 billion on the first day.
Yeah. And then 6 is like 1 billion in pre-orders.
Is it already? I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
think so.
You don't need to pre-order it now, bro. Like it doesn't come out for like a while.
Digital pre-orders have reportedly reached at least 27 million copies. 1 hour ago, GTA 6 has reportedly surpassed 39 million pre-orders and $33 billion in revenue.
Damn.
My God.
33 billion?
3 billion.
Oh,
not
3
30.
billion. Still.
Sorry. Still 3 billion, and it doesn't come out
And it's
for
like 100+ days away. Dude, that's wild. I mean, people are ready for it. Dude. I'm ready for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's been 13 years.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, Rockstar's built their reputation so well that, like, people still play the heck out of GTA 5 every day. People haven't lost any interest in 13 years, which is wild. 3 billion, and you have not even delivered a single thing yet. That's so crazy.
And didn't the pre-orders open like a day or two ago?
Yeah, like yesterday or something.
So, damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. They've kind of earned it because, like, people know it's not going to be the Cyberpunk launch of just.
It better not.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was. Holy shit.
That's probably what it would have been last year. And they probably just spend a year or more just fixing bugs and like just doing polish.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be what, $5 billion in pre-orders by the time the game launches or something?
It's
4
probably
billion?
gonna be a lot more than that.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, then launch day, they're going to sell another however many billion. So they just can't afford to gamble on it and have a bad reputation.
We would riot in the streets.
Yeah.
There would
and
be violence.
And honestly, it's a great move. They could do that on purpose and be like, here's the launch day and we're going to push it back. They could even do that on purpose just for their own hype and it would succeed. People get kind of frustrated, but they also are like, well, this means it's going to be even better the day it comes out. So they like, in a weird way, end up benefiting from that kind of marketing, I feel like, which is funny.
I'm so
But
ready.
yeah, I'm ready for it. It's one that I just know it'll be good.
Yeah.
Red Dead 2 was not near as good of a story as Red Dead 1, I feel like. I didn't feel as attached to the characters or whatever, but like, it's still good. I played through the whole thing and enjoyed it. I may not have as fond of memories as playing the first one, but also like I was a different person back then too. I was less employed.
We're all going to be less employed when this game comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. You just need to make sure you get your severance package before then.
Yeah. So I can spend it on Rockstar tokens.
Yeah, exactly.
Shark cards. All right.
Well, time to go find a USPS 5 and put a chip into my part of the $4 billion.
I was going to say, there's no way you're going to like wait for the PC release, right? Like, got to get that PS5.
I think I will. So I don't have any time to play video games at the moment, and those take a lot of time. So my feeling is I probably will wait for the PC one because my 3, almost 4-year-old doesn't need to see all this violence.
I guess that's fair. Got to start him young, though. Got to start him young.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you boys next week.
All right. Peace.